What is negative black goo and why do you need to know about it to protect yourself? Hi everybody, my name is Chloe Hudson and welcome to World Peace Projects. So today I would like to talk about negative black goo. This is a very important substance to understand, comprehend, so that you can work with it to clear it out, because everybody is affected by negative black goo if they first are not aware that it's there, if they have had trauma in their life and they haven't worked to clear all of this out of their etheric field, their emotional, mental, sexual body, you name it. So, Earth Mother's blood, Gaia's blood, is what we term crude oil. There are different components of what we have termed crude oil within the earth. We utilize petroleum for many of our products on this earth. There is also different components of this crude oil termed negative black goo, and then there is positive black goo. Negative black goo is negatively polarized. Positive black goo is positively polarized. Now, one reason in why we use so much, or the controllers use so much petroleum products, is to ensure that we ingest and consume, absorb, are affected by the negative black goo. Like all things that are physical, it is also etheric. So negative black goo has a physical component, and it also has an etheric component. So when we utilize petroleum products such as our clothes, we absorb it through our skin. When we breathe the air that is exhaust laden, we take it into our lungs and our blood. When we utilize petroleum products to consume beverages and food, we consume it into our bodies. So it builds up in us, just as toxicities do. It needs to be cleansed and cleared and released out of us in the same manner as that we would clear any other toxicities, heavy metals, parasites, any other toxicities that have built up in our body need to be cleansed and cleared out in order for us to thrive. It is the same with the negative black goo. That is one way in which you can assist yourself to clear it out of your system physically. Now, etherically, negative black goo affects us in a negative way. Negative black goo is negatively polarized. Positive black goo is positively polarized. There is terrestrial negative black goo and positive black goo, and there is extraterrestrial negative black goo and positive black goo. So the terrestrial black goo, the negative black goo as expressed through the Cosmic Agency channel on YouTube, says that negative black goo tends to stay towards the inner core of Earth, deeper in the Earth. Positive black goo tends to stay up more towards the surface. It is possible that positive black goo can neutralize negative black goo. This is one way in which it can be neutralized. Certain extraterrestrial black goo has come into our atmosphere and is magnetized into our atmosphere through time, different star systems, planets exploding, you name it. It gets caught into our atmosphere and absorbs into Earth Mother's body. Negative black goo has also been harvested to be used as a tool for psychological, emotional warfare and mind control. It is one of the main substances and tools that are used to create narcissistic, apathetic super soldiers. There are many stories that one can find about physical negative black goo pouring out of somebody's body, and then they have already known about or later find out about that they have been participating in or taken into certain mind control or targeting programs, things like this. Negative black goo is contagious, and it is also insidious. It spreads. So when we have trauma, when we have low frequency, when we have contact with another person that is infected with negative black goo, it is possible that we can magnetize it, attract it into our field, and it can spread if we find ourselves depleted and moving lower and lower and lower into a dense vibration. Negative black goo can be neutralized and eradicated. As one way, as I have said, positive black goo can neutralize it. Another way in which we can do this is to be in unconditional love and compassion in our heart space. That frequency vibration of high energetics can neutralize, eradicate, and dissipate negative black goo. Now, negative black goo imposes negativity onto the host. So, if I were to magnetize negative black goo into my field, let's say I've had a trauma and it's created a tear or a hole in my aura, and I have sadness, I have pain, I have anger, devastation, that is a prime experience to magnetize in negative black goo. It seeps into my field, and if I do not hold a higher vibration, it can spread and impose more negative, dense emotions, negative mental spaces into my experience. So if I know that I can eradicate it, neutralize it, and release it out of my field through love and compassion, forgiveness, self-care, all of these processes, I can help myself release it. I also find it extremely important to etherically release it. And I'm going to tell you how to do this because it's very important to do this, and it's very important to ensure that it is disposed of in the proper areas, okay? Because it is insidious, it is contagious. All of us have been infected by negative black goo and or are infected by negative black goo. It is something that we have all experienced throughout our life. And again, you are now receiving the knowledge. If you haven't known about this or heard about this, while it might sound very scary or upsetting, you're simply gaining more knowledge of what's already happened. This is meant to serve you and ultimately empower you so that you can heal yourself and understand what's happening from a different perspective. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling devastated, depressed, if you're starting to notice that you have more apathy, that you're more narcissistic, that you're more violent, what have you, this can be a sign that negative black goo has infected you and is affecting you because it is starting to take over and consume. Just like how we see images of poor pelicans or birds covered in tar when there's these horrific oil spills, and we know that we must work quickly and diligently so they're not suffocated. It is the same etherically. So again, using your compassion and your heart high frequency vibration neutralizes it and eradicates it. It also protects you from absorbing it. Though, like any negative density emotions or energies, we are susceptible when we still have trauma in our field, when we have attachments, when we have tears in our aura, and when we have unhealed experiences. So it is important to have consistent maintenance, etheric and energetic hygiene to clear this out. So if you have seen this in your own energetic field, maybe you've dreamt about it, maybe you've seen it on other people, now you can understand what it is. If it is terrestrial, it can go back into Earth. If it is extraterrestrial, I like to send it into 0 point antimatter, pure non-manifest potential energy. So your intention and your command is very, very powerful. As all of this work goes, the more that you know through and through that you command it so, and you hold your power and your will strong, the more it is done. With your intention, because all negative black goo, like all things, has a frequency signature. So if you hold a very strong intention for terrestrial negative black goo to go back into the core of Earth, to be recycled and neutralized where it naturally belongs, and extraterrestrial negative black goo to be taken into antimatter, non-manifest, pure potential energy, and or 0 point. You can also send the terrestrial black goo if you don't feel good about or clear of which is which, because you don't need to know, but again, it's about your surety. So if it feels better to you and safer to send all of it into 0 point antimatter, then do that. The way I do this for myself and with my clients, and it happens all the time, I might see it pouring out of their eyes, their ears, their mouth, their heart, their sacral chakra, back body, you name it. Any zones in your body or experiences that you've been affected negatively through trauma, through injury, through upsets, it can be a place where you are storing negative black goo. You may have it in your auric sphere simply from navigating your day, because petroleum is everywhere in our environment. So, as I've always said, how I like to do is I tune into my heart and I activate my torus field, your dielectric magnetic energy that is always cycling in your body. Start to visualize that through gold in your heart. It runs in the shape of an apple or a donut. Bring the energy up out the top of your heart, around, down the outside and under. And activate your dielectric magnetic frequency, cleansing, clearing, calling your heart fully online, bringing in gratitude and thanking your heart space for assisting you. And once you feel content that that is running consciously on autopilot, or at least you're aware of how it's always running, then you can expand your awareness into your entire body. Start to run your second torus field in the shape of an apple or a donut, using gold or whatever works for you. I like gold. Running it up your center line, out the top of your crown, out and around your aura, underneath your feet, back up your perineum, cycling your dielectric magnetic energy. Becoming very clear that this is your energetic frequency. It's very, very powerful. It's very healing. Then, as I know that this is running and I have activated all of my bodies, I have allowed my physical body to be like a sponge, to be cleansed and cleared and absorb this beautiful energy that is of my original energetics. Activate emotional body, cleansing your emotions. Mental body, activate sexual body, and of course, etheric body. Then I like to create a beautiful tube of light that connects to the outside of my aura and runs all the way down into the heart of the version of Gaia that I would like to live on. So this is usually what is referred to at least as 5 density or higher. I choose the Gaia that is sovereign, that is happy, that is connected with all of her children, and all of her children are consciously connected with her. I use the high vibe, density, and timeline of Gaia. I connect into her heart, which is huge, and is also running dielectric magnetic energy. I tune into her energetics, and I am aware that she is highly magnetic and already drawing impurities out of me that do not serve me to be neutralized. I send her love. I thank her for this. And then I bring my awareness back up into my heart. Then I create cords out of all of the spaces in which I sense, believe, or know negative black goo is affecting me. And I send them directly and with strong command and authority into antimatter. And I begin to repel out while the antimatter is magnetizing the negative black goo out of me. At the same time I'm purging this and watching this sludge go, and you can feel it. Often when you tune into it, it feels really vomitous. You want to just vomit it out. You might see it projectile out of your mouth, especially if you've gone through significant trauma. It often can come out of you very forcefully because your body doesn't want it and wants to release it and dispose of it. As it's releasing, I simultaneously know and focus on my beautiful gold dielectric magnetic energy, filling up and replacing all empty spaces of where I've purged and released this negative black goo. And I cleanse and clear my field like that, letting it run as long as need be, and filling myself up, taking my time. Check back body, sabotage, attack comes to the back body. Sealing, cleansing, clearing my field once I feel complete, and thanking the all that is, ensuring that I watch that energetics, that negative black goo be fully neutralized and absorbed back into etheric creation energetics. And or Gaia, if I have sent terrestrial negative black goo into the heart of Gaia to be absorbed and neutralized in the way that she knows how to do very proficiently. And then I seal my field. I seal my field. And I say my thanks, and I ensure I'm still running my energetics, honoring my body, and thanking it for releasing. So this is a practice that can be done daily. It's very, very important. And one can also be aware that if you have come into contact with somebody who is infected, they may be pushing it into your field and you may be absorbing it. And one way in which you may register that this is happening is if in their presence you start to feel nauseous, sick, different parts of your body starts to ache, and or your frequency or emotional state immediately starts to drop. Have they triggered you? Are you triggered? Are you getting angry? So one perspective of something like this is that there is now an exchange of this contagious negative black goo. Again, all of us have been affected by it at some time. Many of us still have it stored in our body in different pockets, just how our liver stores toxicities. So it's very good to cleanse and clear and purge it out, activating more and more your heart energetics and your compassion. I hope that this has served you guys. I would like you to know that there are 3 days left for my Happy New Year Lunar Flash Sale, where you can get 10% off of my consciousness coaching package and 10% off of sessions. You can check that out at my website, worldpeaceprojects.global. Please subscribe, like, and share. Thumbs up my video. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.